Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm bringing you another money method. This is obviously in my Road to 100 Million series, the series in which you pick my money grinding methods. Obviously if you want to get involved in this series, just drop a comment below with a certain car, certain build, etc., and I'll look into it, and if it's any good I will obviously go back and make a video on it. Obviously the whole point in this series is to kind of make the money grind fun again. Obviously with the lack of events we currently have in Gran Turismo 7 for making money, obviously we need ways to kind of, I guess, put a little bit more life into it, and that's why I kind of thought, you know what, let's make a series on it. So if you want to buy this car, this is the NSX GT500 from 2008. It's 800k from the Honda dealer. Fairly good car. If you remember my buyer's guide on it, I did say it was kind of twitchy, so I didn't know really what to think when it came to using it for this method. Obviously, a previous Group 2 car I used was a Lexus SC430, which was very stable and actually very, very good for grinding money. So no tune needed. What we're going to do is go to Europe, the Sardinia road track, and it's the 800 World Touring Car event. So I did originally kind of try and do the, I guess, more, I'd say, tactical method of fuel saving and using a set of hard tyres. However, I just kind of found it very, I guess, boring. I wasn't really a big fan of it when using this car. This car is quite lively, and it's very, very quick. It's more, I guess I'd say, more of a sprint method car than it is, more tactical, fuel saving and such. So this is a method I went with. Basically keep on the medium tyres. You don't need to do any fuel saving, and this first lap especially you're going to go on a bit of a sprint. Obviously the main thing you want to do is have your AI set to easy, work your way past them, and you should pretty much overtake the, I guess I like to call it the the big blockage of cars. This is because the basically will group up. That's kind of the main goal for the first lap, is get past them and get yourself into a bit of clean air. Try not to overdo it around the corners, because like I said, this car can kick its back end at times, not too much to the point where it's not controllable, but that twitchiness is definitely there for this car, against other things like the Lexus SC430. Definitely a little bit more twitching, a little bit more lively at the rear. So for those of you that kind of worry about losing your clean race bonus, the only time you're ever going to lose it, I think it's pretty much cleared up now, is that if you undertake under a yellow flag, which sometimes do happen, you'll lose that clean race bonus. Anything else, it's fair game. You can hit them, you can ram them, but obviously it will cost you time in the long run, and obviously we're just grinding money, so the main thing we want to do is obviously keep them lap times low and keep ourselves nice and clean throughout the whole race. So on to lap 2 now, and we're pretty much up to second place already. So this car's just very, very quick on its single lap pace, and you're going to see the the pace advantages these Group 2 cars have over the Group 3 cars. You're just going to kind of pull away like like they're nothing. No issues there in the speed department. Obviously no fuel saving needed, so we're able to run the engine at its max output. So coming on to lap 3, and we're going to basically get past first place, and at this point you're never ever going to look back. You don't need to worry about him at this point, or any of the cars really. There is a little bit of worrying you might have to do later, but I'll kind of mention that as we get to it. So as you can see at this point, the car's setting an average of a 1 minute 39, or kind of around that. Once you get to around this lap, the tyres will kind of feel like they're dropping off, as you can see. At this point I do recommend kind of driving a little bit more cautiously, maybe putting in some short shifting. Don't be too quick on the downshifts, try not to force that rear end to come out. Your lap time may drop off a little bit more at this stage, but don't kind of worry about it too much. Just focus on driving cleanly, and then obviously we'll go in for our one and only pit stop of the race. As you can see, a bunch of other cars basically pitting in at this point. They'll pretty much do that all the time. If you are on the main straight, just be very, very careful. You can see here I'm sort of catching them as they're coming out of the pit. Just be very mindful, because they will act like you're not there, and there is a high chance that they'll kind of go into you. As you can see, we basically binned it here, and this proving that just be very careful on these tyres, because we are about to pit in. As you can see at the end of lap 7, it's all about kind of just taking yourself around them last few laps when the tyres have fell off. So what we're going to do is put another set of mediums on. and we're going to fill the car to full. So I like to kind of make my longest stint the first stint. This is purely because at the end I kind of want to just sprint to the finish, and kind of take advantage of this car's pros over its cons. Like I said, the medium tyres do wear out a little bit quicker, but we've kind of put our longest stint in already, so it's just a case of getting this car through to the end. Another little note I want to make is when you're leaving the pit exit, just be very careful and kind of look behind you or keep an eye on the track map, because if you do kind of end up, I guess, a little bit further back than this, trust me, the cars will come flying down that straight, and they will basically just pile into you. They've got no mercy for you. So as you can see, we're going to lap a bunch of cars here. You just kind of want to time it. As you can see, I nearly went into the back of one there. But yeah, basically the reason I kind of showcase this bit is because you want to kind of learn the line and just be careful that the AI can be a little bit unpredictable at times. And you don't want to get held up and kind of cost yourself, a bunch of time, because obviously grinding is all about keeping your timings low. So I ran into a really weird thing here where all the cars are pretty much bunched up still. I've never actually seen them this bunched up, and I thought it was kind of cool that they're also, close. But obviously it puts us in a risky situation when we're trying to get past them and lap them. For some reason they don't seem to, react very well to the blue flag. A bunch of other cars pitting in. Again, you just want to hope that you've timed it right and you don't have to bother with them, but if they do come out of that pit, just be careful. There's a high chance they'll kind of move over, especially if they're, kind of grouped up together and they all kind of come out at the same time. It does happen. Obviously, a lot of you will probably have run this event enough to kind of know to be very aware of the AI, because they're a bit of a pain. And finally, we're going to lap the whole field on, lap 12 into 13, just using that slipstream just to breeze past. Fuel usage is okay, but at this point I kind of recommend going into, I guess, short shift mode. This is just to ensure that you've got enough to get yourself over the line, and obviously just be wary of the tyres dropping off. So lap 13, you can see we've got one lap of fuel left. I'm actually going to put it at fuel mix 6. This is to just get the last couple of laps out of the way. Basically it's not too bad. When you're running this kind of fuel mix, it is noticeably a bit slower. However, obviously, it does use a lot of fuel up when you're in the fuel mix 1, so it's kind of up to you when you want to do it, but I timed it at basically the end of lap 13 onto 14. Half a tank of fuel left and just a few more corners to go. We're basically lapping this guy for the second time, pretty much in no man's land there, bless him. But you can see where the tyres have worn off, and we're kind of just trying to get ourselves through the last few corners. Definitely not as stable as the Lexus SC430, but I can kind of understand why people recommended this car, just because its flat out one lap pace is actually very, very good, and I'd say it just feels much quicker than the Lexus over a single lap. But obviously it's more of an endurance race, this, and I would kind of say that the Lexus did kind of impress me more over this event. This method is still very, very quick, but let's go and look into it a little bit more. So as you can see, our fastest lap was a 1 minute 39.0, and we did it in an overall time of 26 minutes 6. Obviously with a a bit of a spin, a bit of a moment, and obviously trying to keep the car going with them medium tyres at the end of the stints is a bit of a nightmare. Kind of slows you down a little bit. But as you're going to see, we're going to get the full payout, so it's 727,500 in around about 25-26 minutes, so actually not too bad. But I wouldn't really say this method stands out as any of the best methods, but it is still very easy to get that quick money. So a bunch of people recommended this method to me, so I can't really pick a single comment, but I would personally choose the Lexus SC430 just for its stability and the fact that it seems to be a bit better on its tyre wear. But for flat out pace, I can see why a lot of people choose this Honda. It's just a case of being aware that it will be a little bit twitchy at the rear end. It's not too bad, but sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult, I guess, for, I'd say, more beginner players to kind of keep this car under control. It's a bit of a beast, but definitely the one lap pace is there while the tyres are good. Obviously one stop method, so not too bad with the pit stops. So yeah, thank you to everyone that recommended kind of using this car, but I would definitely take the Lexus SC430 over it, although it is still very good to get that money with. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.